Have you ever wondered how a man could change the world with his invention, only to vanish into the night without leaving a trace? On September 29, 1913, Rudolf Diesel, the genius behind the engine that bears his name, boarded a ferry called the SS Dresden to cross the English Channel. He was traveling from Antwerp, Belgium, to Harwich, England. His destination was London, where he was scheduled to attend important business meetings. But Diesel never made it. By the next morning, his cabin was found empty, his bed untouched, and the great inventor of the diesel engine had disappeared forever. Today, we dive into one of history's most fascinating unsolved mysteries, the disappearance of Rudolf Diesel. Was it an accident, a suicide, or a political assassination tied to the rising tensions of pre-World War I Europe? Rudolf Christian Karl Diesel was born in Paris in 1858 to German immigrants. His childhood was shaped by hardship, poverty, and resilience. At the age of 12, his family sent him to live with relatives in Augsburg, Germany, where he studied at the industrial school. His exceptional intelligence soon brought him to the Royal Bavarian Polytechnic in Munich, where he graduated at the top of his class at just 21 years old. Diesel was obsessed with efficiency. Steam engines dominated industry in the 19th century, but they were notoriously inefficient, burning huge amounts of coal for relatively little energy. Diesel envisioned something revolutionary, an engine that could convert more of the fuel's energy into usable work. His invention, patented in 1892, would later be known as the diesel engine. Unlike gasoline engines, diesel engines could run on a variety of fuels, including peanut oil. That idea made Diesel a visionary far ahead of his time. He even imagined a world where farmers could grow their own fuel. But with innovation came financial stress. Diesel was a brilliant engineer, but not a savvy businessman. His ventures were often plagued by poor management and heavy debts. By 1913, he was under intense financial strain and health problems were piling up. On September 29, 1913, Rudolf Diesel set out on a journey that would be his last. He boarded the SS Dresden in Antwerp. Reports say he dined on board that evening before retiring to his cabin. He asked to be woken at 6:15 the next morning. But when the steward came to his room, Diesel was gone. His bed had not been slept in, his nightclothes were untouched, and the great inventor of the diesel engine had disappeared forever. And so, one of the world's greatest inventors simply vanished. The disappearance sparked immediate speculation. There are three main theories about what happened that night. Some believe Diesel took his own life. He was drowning in debts, his health was deteriorating, and he's spoken of dark thoughts in private letters. Leaving his belongings neatly arranged in his cabin seemed to some like the act of a man preparing for the end. Another possibility is that Diesel simply slipped and fell overboard. The decks of ships at the time could be treacherous, especially at night. But critics argue that Diesel was cautious by nature. For a man on an important business trip, it seems unlikely that he would wander the deck carelessly in the middle of the night. The third theory, and perhaps the most dramatic, is murder. In 1913, Europe was on the brink of war. Diesel engines were increasingly valuable for powering submarines and naval ships. Britain, Germany, and other nations were competing fiercely for this technology. Some suggest that German agents may have eliminated Diesel to prevent him from striking deals with the British Navy. After all, Diesel was en route to meetings with English businessmen when he vanished. This theory, while unproven, is compelling. His disappearance conveniently removed him from the scene just as his engine was about to transform naval power. Regardless of how he died, Diesel's invention lived on. The diesel engine went on to revolutionize transportation, powering ships, trucks, trains, and later automobiles across the world. It remains one of the most efficient internal combustion engines ever created. Ironically, in the decades after his disappearance, the engine that carried his name became a cornerstone of industrial might during both world wars. The very conflicts his mysterious death was entangled in speculation. What makes Rudolf Diesel's story so compelling isn't just the engine, the politics, or the speculation. It's the human tragedy. Here was a man who dreamed of empowering small farmers, who envisioned an engine running on vegetable oil long before sustainability became a global concern. Yet he was also a man burdened by debt, illness, and perhaps enemies far greater than he could manage. On that night in 1913, did he decide to end his struggles on his own terms? Did fate and clumsy footing take him? Or was he silenced because his invention was too important in a world sliding toward war? We'll likely never know the truth, but what remains is the haunting image of a cabin left untouched, a bed unslept in, and a watch placed carefully on the table, as if time itself had stopped for Rudolf Diesel. So the next time you hear the steady hum of a diesel engine, on a truck, a ship, or even a generator, remember the man behind it, a man whose life ended as mysteriously as his invention was revolutionary. Rudolf Diesel vanished on the night of September 29, 1913.